Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Tuesday. I am Chef Jenny, and welcome to Homemade Cooking. Hi, Lena. Hello. If you are feeling so inclined, we love to see your beautiful faces. Please share your cameras with us if you feel comfortable. It's great watching you interact with us along and maybe cook with us. Are you cooking along with us, Lena, today? Yeah. All right. Love it. What are we making today? We're making Seattle-style beef teriyaki. Beef's good on its own. Teriyaki is delicious. Add them together, you got a party, all right? Hi, Deb. Hello. Of course, I'm not here on my own. I need to be supervised, and that's why we've got the incredible Chef Meg. Hello, Chef Meg.
Hi, Chef Jenny. Hello, everyone.
Are you feeling a sense of pride since we are located in downtown Seattle that we are making Seattle-style beef teriyaki?
Oh, yeah. And I'm living my childhood dream, and this was my ultimate favorite food.
Right. Rice, steak teriyaki. Let's go.
Candied meat.
Candied beef with delicious white rice. Yeah. If you're not in a good mood after this, there's nothing else we can do for you, because this is it. This is as good as it can possibly get. We're just, of course, not on our own. The best days are when we've got our friends joining us, and this class is possible by our wonderful friends at the New York Beef Council. We want to refer you to their site, Beef. It's what'sfordinner.com. Love that. I will never forget that. Beef. It's what'sfordinner.com. They've got incredible recipes. We've done a lot of recipes with them. Summer grilling season officially started. It's summer in my mind, because after Memorial Weekend, it's Burger Palooza. So check them out. They've got incredible recipes, especially for summer grilling. If you're new to Homemade, welcome. We love for you to engage with us. If you want to ask a question, just go ahead and raise your hand. Meg is controlling the chat. She'll let you in. And of course, contribute to the chat, ask questions. We love to hear anything and everything you want to know. So we're going to get into it, because we got some fun. We got a lot of stuff to do. And honestly, I'm just ready to eat this. There's certain classes where I know that people are going to start physically being closer to the table out of frame, because the second the camera goes, like feral raccoons, we're all going to be on it. This is going to be one of those. So let's do it. Seattle. Oh no, this is going to be a tongue twister. Seattle style steak teriyaki. Chef Meg, how often are you eating teriyaki in Seattle? I'll be honest, I think I'm eating once a week. That's one of our Thursday night meals, is we'll go and get teriyaki.
I feel like twice a month, maybe, for me.
That's fair. Every other week.
Something like that.
Yeah. It's a huge staple here. If you're not aware, it's got a huge history here that we're going to go into. So very rarely do we have Seattle specific food, other than I think everyone associates us with obviously seafood, but steak teriyaki, one of ours, very proud of. So this is going to be a fun one for us, as we are located in beautiful downtown Seattle right now. So we are going to start actually with our teriyaki sauce. Much easier than you would think to make. I think when I was little, this seemed like such an indulgence. I loved steak teriyaki as a kid too, along with Chef Meg. This seems so exotic, and you couldn't possibly make this at home. Couldn't be easier. So I'm gonna turn on my stove here, and I'm gonna put my heat to around medium. There's a lot of sugar in the sauce, and I don't want it to burn, but I do need to get it to a simmer so that we can thicken it up. So just kind of medium, low heat, okay? I'm gonna start up here with a little bit of water in my pan, and then some soy sauce. Whatever your favorite brand of soy sauce. You could also use tamari if you don't want to use soy sauce. I've got some honey here. So we're actually going to use two types of sugar. We have some honey. Beautiful honey. If you had to, if you ran out of honey and you're panicking right now, if you had to, you can use a little bit of maple syrup. It's just going to give it a little a little bit of a different flavor. If you want to be not a Hawaiian teriyaki, you can add some pineapple juice in. So we've got our honey and then some brown sugar. Honestly, you can use light or dark. The dark just has some more molasses in it. I am a pastry chef background, so I always feel obligated to say whenever we work with brown sugar that if you ever need brown sugar and you're out, 1 cup white sugar plus 1 tablespoon molasses mixed together gives you brown sugar. You want a darker brown sugar, use a little bit more molasses. That's gonna help you one day. Maybe we're not now, maybe not 3 months around, somewhere in like 2 weeks in December, this thought is gonna pop out and it's gonna help you significantly. It's a really good one to know. Have you ever done that, Chef Meg? Have you ever done the brown sugar trick?
I don't know that I have.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know how. I guess I've just always been supplied.
This is good. It's good. This is why we're here. We talk, we learn things. I love it.
But that sounds delicious anyway.
Honestly, it does. I mean, it's very similar, but it can add almost a little bit of a fresher, richer flavor to like baked goods, or if you're doing this, like a little, that fresh molasses in there gives a little oomph. Does everyone know? Just me going my shoulders like that. Is that the universal language? Everyone understands like a little oomph. All right. We're now going to add garlic and ginger to our teriyaki sauce here. Ginger, fresh ginger, it's never in one solid piece. It is always that mini panic I have when I see a recipe that says an exact measurement. This is not really how ginger works. But I'm thinking about a tablespoon. Look, I'm just going to pull some off here. Love fresh ginger. You can do a lot with it. So you can eat the skin, but a lot of people don't like the texture. You can take it back of a spoon, if you know this trick, and start scraping it. I have no problem taking a knife and kind of just scraping off the skin. I flip it on one side, kind of go the other. I'll use this for tea and for stock. I won't throw this out. Man, I love that smell of fresh ginger. It's the best. I'm also a big ginger person in my smoothies. If you haven't done that, it's a great flavor. So I just kind of make little slices. And then along with my garlic, I'm gonna, again, kind of the same thing, just eyeball it. I'm using 2 cloves garlic, but I have large cloves here. I'm gonna clean up my board. You can also buy ginger puree frozen. The same with garlic. If you have a hard time finding ginger, there is no shame in that. If you don't have any fresh and all you can find is dried, dried's fine too. It's not quite as, I guess, there's like a little fresh heat to fresh ginger, a kind of intense heat that I actually like. It's punchy, that you don't get as much in the dried, but better than without. So I'm just gonna really finely mince these 2 up. There's certain things like butter and onions simmering away on the oven, on the stove. That's just, there's certain flavors melding together that make sense. Like basil and tomatoes, coffee and chocolate, ginger and garlic together. It's the best. You can also do this in a mortar and pestle if you have one, and grind it up in there into a paste. This is also a very common starter in Indian cooking, is garlic and ginger together. So we'll get this finely ground up, and then we're gonna add it to our sauce, and then just turn up the heat a little bit and get a nice simmer on it. So why Seattle? What is Seattle role in teriyaki? When I've moved here from California 2 years ago to the PNW, the first thing my husband and I said within a couple of weeks of being here is, Have you noticed how many teriyaki places are here? It's one of it's like one of his top 3 foods. He couldn't be happier. We noticed it driving around all the time. They're every corner. It's like a coffee shop, Starbucks. There's a teriyaki place. That's because it kind of has origins here in Seattle. Teriyaki in Japan isn't quite as sweet. So it came over here in around the 40s and 50s and started getting really popular. But we like things a little sweeter here. So definitely became a little sweeter. And it became really popular with steak because good American beef, love beef here. Beef's delicious. So there's a couple people who, again, anytime you have an origin story, it's always hard to tell who's who, right? It's always an exact pinpoint. But there's a couple of people that kind of frequently pop out when you talk about Seattle teriyaki. I'm going to try to pronounce, I tried to look up how to pronounce his name. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing this, but it's Junki. I think Junki Yoshida. Mr. Yoshida had a store and became really popular at the same time that Kikkoman was really becoming present in the United States. He's a Japanese immigrant who really wrote a lot of recipes and did store demos and had cookbooks with soy sauce. Toshi Kashihara is another Japanese immigrant who really became popular and was associated with teriyaki in Seattle, and a Korean immigrant, John Chun. So those 3 are kind of frequently referenced in Seattle for it really taking off. But we also have a huge Hawaiian influence here in Seattle. I think that not a lot of people know that there's a big Hawaiian presence here, and we're so much better for it. So teriyaki in Hawaii really that's where the sweetness kind of took off, because that's where pineapple juice and brown sugar got introduced. So it's kind of hard to tell because so many people travel back and forth, and we have such a great, beautiful immigrant population that's present in both locations. It's one of those things, who's to say, but those are kind of the main names that go on. We got those from a great article on Tasting Table. Meg has that you can reference there. It's a fascinating read. I can't recommend to you enough about the history of teriyaki. Tell me you're a foodie without saying you're a foodie, that you really fall down the rabbit hole of looking at where did Seattle teriyaki came from. I was in it the past week reading up on Seattle teriyaki. So it's just modern day become this really beautiful thing that we're prideful with. Like, cities are all associated with certain foods. Philly cheesesteak, you've got definitely Chicago deep dish. Seattle's got teriyaki, man. So if you come here, you definitely have to at least try it. That is my advice to you. You will not miss out. So I can't begin to tell you how good it smells in here. We have garlic. We have ginger. We have all these beautiful sweet notes and the soy, and it's coming to simmer. And now I'm going to take this down, and I'm going to add in my toasted sesame oil. I love toasted sesame oil. We don't want all that flavor to evaporate, so we kind of get this a chance to simmer, and then we're going to add our oil in. Chef Meg and I were talking about before class, like, we are team sesame. If it has sesame in it, I'm getting it. My favorite bagel is sesame. Chef Meg, tell the people what you just bought that had sesame in it.
Ooh, black sesame oatmeal, like instant oatmeal mix.
Which
so
I never
good.
would that, but like, yeah, I'm down.
Ooh, you know, one of my favorite desserts is vanilla ice cream with strawberries, honey, and sesame.
Yes, sesame and strawberries, don't sleep on it. It's a really good combination, especially strawberry ice cream as we're getting into the summer months with sesame brittle on it, or toasted sesame cookies.
Ooh.
We're just talking here. This is, if you wanted a glimpse of what Chef Meg's relationship and our relationship, it's just this. And then I had, and then would you have, and then it's just talking food. That's it. It's the basis of most of my relationships. And now I'm going to go try to find that black sesame oatmeal. So we've got our oil here. It's simmered. It's warm. but it's not boiling. Again, you don't want a scorched flavor in here. You don't want that sugar to scorch. So it's just at a simmer. And now I'm gonna make a little slurry. We gotta thicken this up. If you know that teriyaki kind of glossiness, that shine, that's from it being a little thicker. And we're gonna make a thickening agent called a slurry. We're using cornstarch, equal parts cornstarch and water. The biggest thing that I tell people about making a slurry, because it couldn't be easier, equal parts cornstarch and water here, is that you have to mix it together, this water and cornstarch, off the heat. Off the heat. Cornstarch is heat activated. That means that the starch won't start to bloom and absorb the water in your mix and thicken it up and tighten it up unless it's got some heat. So if you add these things in here and start to mix, that cornstarch is instantly going to clump up because it's going to be exposed to the heat. So that's why we add this little bit of water. We're just going to whisk it. You ever had lumpy gravy at the holidays? Yeah, we've all been to that house. I'm sure it's none of you. We all know there's that house with the lumpy gravy. It's not the end of the world, but that's because flour is the same. If you don't mix it together off heat, it's gonna create lumps. So now I've got this kind of, if you can see here, I've got a thin mixture here that I can easily stream in and mix and add in, and it's not gonna clump up. Is it still edible for clumps? Of course it is. Do not stress. You're fine eating the clumps, but if you have a strainer, you can also strain out this clumps. I mean, you're gonna strain out the garlic and the ginger too, but that's totally fine. So if you're really like, oh no, this is clump city, and you're panicking, just get a strainer. That's fine. Also, you're making homemade teriyaki for your household, so no apologies. And instantly you could kind of see it's glossing up there. Oh, I love that. So teri in Japanese means shine. And then yaki means grill. So this shine is part of the name. That's what we're looking for. It's kind of that shine on your protein a little bit on the grill. I'm continually mixing this because I don't want clumps to form on the bottom. So it is good to stir. And then because our mixture had come to simmer and it was warm, as you can see, it thickened up. Okay, let's see here if I can get a good camera angle on that. Let's see, there we go. Can you see how thick it is? Look at that, it really thickened up. That's exactly what we're looking for. I mean, it smells incredible. It smells insane. So we're gonna put this off to the side. Absolutely, if you're thinking about this for summer grilling, if you're thinking about this just for a midweek meal, you can totally make this ahead of time. It'll last a couple days in the fridge. You could even freeze this if you wanted. So do not sleep on that. Do not waste that. That is part of our life now. That's part of our routine. This lives with us now. Teriyaki for all. Okay, how are we doing? I know that might have seemed like a lot if you've never made it before. Any questions? How we doing, Meg?
We're doing great.
We're doing good?
I'm doing hungry. It smells so good.
So that was rough to start with the, like, it's gonna get rougher once we start grilling the meat because then it's done. We're done. There's no coming back. Then it's just a countdown of how fast can we wrap up here. So hopefully that seems really, that only took a couple minutes. I mean, honestly, the most labor intensive part of that was chopping the garlic and ginger. So hopefully you can see that comes together. A slurry is magic. It's about to get fruit, like really good stone fruit season, cherries, peaches, all the really good berries that have a lot of water. If you're trying to make sauces out of them and thicken them up, a cornstarch slurry is what I use. You can make a great fruit sauce for ice cream, for cakes. It's just sugar, lemon juice, berries, fruit, whatever stone fruit you've got, and a little bit of slurry heated up. like 5 minutes, and then you've got this beautiful sauce. Slurries, who knew? I have in my product development days in corporate, in test kitchen, had like 20 slurries lined up at a time or something, and had to try all these different slurries to see which my favorite cornstarch was. And that is something like I don't think I brag enough about. It's a weird brag, but yes, I've tried all the slurries. Class over. Done. Bow. Okay. So on to our steak. This, I mean, giddy up. Cast iron. That's my favorite to use for searing steaks. You absolutely can do this on a grill. My advice to you though is I'm just seasoning my steaks over here with a little bit of salt. And I've got paper towels. Let's see. I don't want my stove to beep at me, but I'm gonna try to get these guys here. She's beeping. She's beeping. Try to do this. So I've got a paper towel. That's my first tip for making great steaks, because I'm trying to get a sear on this. If you're going on the grill, trying to get a good char. What's going to interfere with that is moisture. And protein steak has moisture, it has water. So you're going to end up steaming, not searing. And I want that char, I want that sear. So just taking the little paper towels with your meat, with your steaks, even your burgers, that's one of the best things you could do. And then moisture comes off on the paper towel, and you're ready to rock and roll. I've given these a little salt. I like to let them sear with, or sit, sear, a lot of S names today. I like to let them sit with a little bit of salt for about half an hour, because they'll actually, and you can even salt them the night before in the fridge. Steak will absorb salt and kind of circulate and flavor your meat. We've got a ton of salt and sweetness and umami and great flavor in that teriyaki. It does not need a lot. Be very wary of not over seasoning these. I'm usually all about really, my biggest pet peeve with steak is that people aren't seasoning it enough, like getting a good salty peppery crust on the outside. But these, the whole point of the teriyaki style in Seattle is it's sliced up and then that sauce is poured over the top. So we've got these guys. I've salted them. I love my cast iron because a cast iron really holds heat well. It holds it. And what happens when you get uneven cooking in steak is that you have a pan that has cold spots. And we love all the pans. There's incredible pans out there. But honestly, a cast iron lasts forever. It's one of my go-tos. It heats up really, really well. It does all the stuff. And it's kind of a workhorse of the kitchen. So I love me a cast iron. Someone's graduating from college. You want to set them up for life? You give them a cast iron skillet. That is the way. They don't need a pen. They need a cast iron. Tell them Chef Jenny told you to do that. All right, so I'm just going to wash up a little bit. So what's fun about today, we're all over the different regions with this recipe, because we're here in Seattle. We're referencing immigrants from Japan and from Korea. We're talking about Hawaii. We are working with one of my all-time top 3 favorite cuts of beef, the tri-tip. So we have tri-tip steaks. We have different sizes just because the tri-tip is a triangular piece of roast. So it's not a single piece of roast. Tri-tip is like the biggest, like if I'm going to associate California, where I'm from and grew up, with one piece of beef, it's tri-tip, because it's really the cut started in California, Southern California. It started because there was right below the top sirloin, kind of near the back, near the rump, there was a piece that a butcher figured out how to cut more efficiently. And so to eliminate waste, because there was a war and there's rations and beef was hard to come by. So you've got this kind of triangular roast cut. I really like it because you cook it for a party, and then who wants the well done pieces? Who wants the medium? It allows you actually to have a lot. The way I know it is from the Central Valley where I grew up, and then the Central Coast where I went to college. Those are two of the most popular places where tri-tip is from. It's seasoned really well, and it's grilled, usually over some good smoky wood. It's got a lot of garlic and beautiful flavors on it, and then it's sliced thin, and it's served with ranch beans and garlic bread and some really good salsa. That's how I know it. It's the thing. If you're in the Central Coast, Central Valley, get yourself some tri-tip. My favorite place in college, what up Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo. And I'm gonna have my hot pan. I'm just gonna add a little bit of veg oil and add in my steak. My favorite place is called Firestones. And and I got that sear on it, and that's what I wanna hear. And I'm doing kind of medium-high heat. We kind of go a little hot on this and get a good sear on it. And then I kind of want it, depending, medium well on the outside. My favorite place is Firestones. They do sliced, grilled, and Lena, do you know it? Sliced, grilled tri-tip on garlic bread and with barbecue sauce. That's it. That's the sandwich. It is heaven. And it was also, I was living on instant noodles. So when my parents came to visit me, I made them first thing take me to go get a tri-tip sandwich. And it holds such a beautiful memory. It's like my special food. So tri-tip and I go way back. If you're not sure, because it is very regional to California, but a lot more places are carrying it now. This is one of the things we always encourage you to do. Just introduce yourself to your butcher, whatever grocery store you're shopping at, where you get your meat. Say, I'm really interested in getting some tri-tip. Do you have some? Can you order me some? And then they might start carrying it. But it definitely, growing up, it used to be more regional. Now I think it's really popularized. A lot more people know it. It's popular also, that cut in Germany, in South America, especially like Argentinian asados. So it's not like a crazy foreign thing. Like, it definitely has different places. It just took a long time. I'm gonna go up. I really want a good sear here. So you're gonna start hearing it. And then one of my must-haves for searing meat is I have a meat thermometer. There's a lot of old school, like, butcher folklore of feeling your knuckles and then feeling the steak to figure out the doneness. We all have different fingers, people. That does not work for me. I'm a scientist. I'm a linear thinker. I go with a food thermometer, okay? So at least 145. I want to relieve anyone of any shame who's a well done eater. A medium, but I also like well done. I love steak. Steak is delicious in all its forms. Let us be forgiving and not even forgiving. Let us be accepting of all the different types of ways to cook steak. I resent it being called overdone. It's just well done. If it's well cooked, I'm still eating it. I'm still happy. So you should apologize to no one, everyone. What is your Chef Meg, your preferred way? Are you a medium person?
I'm like medium rare.
Oh, yeah. And I'm more like medium well.
Oh, okay.
So we're both good people. We're both nice. We're here. We're happy.
Oh, we can share a tri-tip. We just get
share
either end.
A tri-tip. Should we grill a whole tri-tip after this?
I guess we should say that these are tri-tip steaks. So
yes.
Like normally it would look different.
So these are the pieces that are cut off the whole roast. Does that make sense? So usually the roast is kind of like a much larger size. These we bought and they were cut off into different pieces. I'm just going with our largest piece here. If you can see, I'm starting to get a beautiful, nice sear on here. Just gonna do a little high heat oil, get that going. And it smells incredible. This is where anyone in our office who didn't know we were having steak teriyaki definitely knows we have steak teriyaki now, because it smells insane. So we're just gonna sear this very simple with salt. We've got our really nice our pan that can hold high heat, our cast iron. I'm using a high smoke point vegetable oil. You don't want to use an extra virgin olive oil for this. You don't want to use a specialty nut oil. This is meant for something that is heat stable. And we're just getting a really beautiful sear. Oh yeah. I'm liking how that's looking. That's beautiful. And then this gets seared and we'll let it rest. We're kind of going over our tips of you want to make sure you well season. You want to make sure you pat dry. You have a good high heat pan. You have a good high smoke point oil. Let your meat rest. All those juices need to recirculate, and we definitely do not want to be cutting into our steak right when it's done. So this is a great time, like, let me check where my temp is at, my steak. Yeah, I've got plenty of time here. I'm at the 90s. I'm looking for around 140, I'll pull it, 145. I'm just gonna add a little more oil because I'm gonna flip it. Usually this is the time when I add butter in and start basting it. I have to remember we're also doing teriyaki, but like if that's your jam, I'm not judging you at all. See, how's she looking here? Okay, while this is searing, I do want to talk to you about rice. So we're using sushi rice, Calrose rice. It's a short grain rice that's very high in starch. That's what I recommend for this. I want to show you this guy because what I'm doing is rinsing the rice. You need to rinse the rice before you cook it 1 to 2 minutes because if you can see top down here, all that starchy water. We need to rinse the starch off. So you need to rinse it in a fine mesh strainer in the sink. Just keep running the water over, kind of massaging it with your hands until the water runs clear. That way our rice isn't going to be one clump, that at least has some separation, be a little fluffy afterwards. And then with sushi rice, what I also like to do is this is also, you'll see instructions on your packaging. We want to let it sit in the pot with the water 30 minutes before you start cooking it. The reason is that rice is going to get a head start on hydrating, and that way it will cook more evenly once we turn on the heat. If you just throw your rinsed off rice into the pot and turn on the heat, then once your rice is done, you're gonna have some pieces that might not be fully cooked, some pieces that are overdone. So by soaking it before you start cooking it, it'll just allow it to cook a little more evenly. So what we're doing is rinsing, soaking, and then cooking. And then you'll get some great style sushi rice. Traditional sushi, if we're actually talking sushi rice, you'll often have a seasoned vinegar with salt and sugar spread over it. We're just doing straight rice here because there's so much flavor in our teriyaki sauce that we don't need all that extra like sugar and salt in there. Just kind of looking around. Ooh, we're getting close. I want to make sure we're at the right temp for Chef Meg here. Look at that beautiful crust we have. So because we rinsed this off, that's allowing us to get that really good brown. Again, I'm just going to do my sides here too. Want to tell you, once again, friends, beefitswhatsfordinner.com. And if you are cooking along with us, if you take pictures and post them, please tag at New York Beef Council. They want to see what you're doing. Especially Lena, I know you're going to plate that beef so beautiful. They're going to want to see it. Oh, this tri-tip is making me so happy. How's it smelling, Chef Meg?
It's smelling wonderful. I feel like a cartoon, like, you know, when I'm like gonna follow
like the
a
eyes
smell
go on
trail
and you're like, yeah.
Start floating above the table.
Yeah, kind of just, yeah, that's how we're getting here. Okay. If I'm at home, I'm going to slice up some onions and then saute them in this beef fat. I do not waste beef fat. Maybe a little garlic, salt, and pepper, and serve on the side of everything. Just saying. Oh, man, this steak looks good. Think we're about there. It smells, if we could make it a candle, we would. Because we have the lingering teriyaki smells as well. So it's kind of, we're just all the umami and the sweetness. It's a real party, like, aroma in here right now.
How do they not make like a home cooked meal candle? You know, there should be like roast chicken.
There should definitely be a steak candle. That's Father's Day is coming up. There has to be a steak candle, right?
Oh my God, yeah.
If
that
not,
would be perfect.
make sure you patent that for us, Chef Meg, and then that'll be our side project that we'll work on. Okay. Maybe like a candle made with like beef tallow probably would just be, honestly, that's gonna give you all the vibes. Just because we're live in class and heading on to our slaw, we're going to do one, but do not fear that all of these tri-tip steaks are getting served up, because we got a hungry crew over here, and steak is delicious. As we said, I'm just going to keep saying it because it is truth. Steak is delicious. So kind of went over the rice. We seared our steak, very simple. Again, high heat oil, a little salt, just make sure it's pat dry and you got a beautiful crust, and now we're letting it rest. And then we'll get going on our slaw. Chef Meg, you want to get me some mayonnaise? Yeah. Okay. This is why I think steak teriyaki is the perfect plate of food. It's the same reason why I feel very strongly that Hawaiian plate lunches are the perfect plate of food, because you have umami, you have sweet, you have salty, you have acid, you have a little bitter. You have the fluffy rice, you have the crunchy slaw, you have the kind of bit of chew from that great steak. You have the hot steak with that teriyaki over it, and then you've got the cold salad. So all the temperatures, all the textures, all the flavors. Perfect plate of food. That is Culinary School 101. They put it all out. If every plate of food's got to have all these different things on it. That's what makes a perfect bite that keeps making it go more. So we need our cold, we need our crunchy, and that's where the slaw comes in. So I am going to first up start with, I think I'm going to start with my veg. So first thing we're starting with is cabbage. We're not doing that much. I only have a quarter here. Maybe a lot of you might have cabbage left over from the holiday barbecues this weekend. There's a little core in here. I'm just going to take that core out. Flat down on my board, kind of take that firm core out. We have a box grater, so I'm just going to use this guy to help me shred some cabbage. So you can take cabbage and grate it on, which one do I want to hear? And grate like that, and you could get finely grates of cabbage. I actually like to thinly cut my cabbage. Just flat on the board and thinly slice it. And maybe I'll give it a little chop after this. You, of course, look, no judgment. If you are running around, I know it's end of school time, there's a lot going on, summer plans about to start. If what you need to do to get this on the table is go ahead and buy pre-shredded, live your life. We just want some cabbage in here. In Seattle, whenever we get this, I will say cabbage is a nice addition. I like that it's crunchy and adding some more flavor. I'm just going to give it a rough chop around. But mostly it's usually just iceberg lettuce, which is so old school and I love. And it's not even tossed together with the dressing. It's just iceberg lettuce, a little bit of carrot, and then the dressing's just over the top, and you kind of mix it yourself, which I love. So, but I like that we're zhuzhing up a little bit, and we have some cabbage as well. We're gonna use about a quarter of a carrot, peeled. And this one I will grate on the box grater. Of course, if you have a food processor, you can use that. But why not? We got the time. It's very meditative. Let's just all have a moment of zen as we're grating carrot. Again, if you buy prepackaged carrot, we're not going to judge you. Do what you got to do. Beautiful orange to that. And then we've got our iceberg over here. Put this to the side. Okay. I'm going to slice up some iceberg. Again, usually on my like teriyaki plates, my favorite place that I go, it's just a quarter of iceberg and that dressing over it. That's it. But we're going to make a sauce. I'm actually going to slice some of this up. If you don't know this, a little trick for getting this out, you see that core on your iceberg? If you take that and slam it on your board, it easily comes and takes the core right out like that. So don't have to cut it, it just easily breaks it apart like that. And it's fun to slam it, let's not lie. I'm just gonna rough chop. Iceberg is kind of delicate. Once we add that dressing, it's gonna start to wilt because the dressing has a lot of salt and vinegar in it. My clean hands. It's a pretty good party in there. Okay. And then we've got some scallions, last up. Let me toss this, get this out this way. Looks like a rabbit was here with all of that. And bench scraper, very handy for cleaning up a board. My culinary school instructors were here right now. I get in trouble because I didn't have my bench scraper out. Don't tell them. I don't want point stocked for the day. Okay. And now we're going to do some scallions. Did anyone during the pandemic, which was something that was floating around on social media, pick up the trick of if you take this and put it in water that you can regrow scallion? I totally did, and it blew my mind. And I'm from the ag capital of California, and I was like, what? I've been throwing these out? So FYI, if you put these in a little water and put it near the sun, these will start to regrow. Chef Meg, are you going to do it?
Oh, I do it. I do it.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I try to do it with anything that, like, many vegetables you can do that. I have some bok choy growing from the butt of the baby bok choy, and you do the same thing, just put it in water. And they're
How long does
so
it take to
cute.
grow?
A week or two. I mean, they're still growing, but yeah, after a couple of days, they'll start like growing up.
I mean, who knew?
It's amazing.
I mean, actually, a lot of people knew ag's a very popular industry in the United States. I just didn't know, and I love that. So, okay. I've got my scallions here. Don't have scallions, you've got some chives, you can use that. You can use some chopped up white onion if you don't have any green onion. I just really like the green onion in there. I like the white parts have got a little bit of heat to it, and I like that. Okay, boom. Now let's make our dressing. Look at all this stuff over here. Chef Meg, how's it going out there?
It's going great.
Yeah? Folks, if you feel so inclined to share, like I said, tri-tip is my thing. Whenever I visit home or college that I have to have, my college town or my hometown, what's your food when you visit home or college town? What do you have to have? What's your thing? What's your Chef Meg? What's the place you have to go, or what's the thing you have to have?
There's this, it might surprise you, but it's a sports bar that I used to go to growing up, and they have like the best burgers and the best wings.
What makes it the best burgers?
I don't know. I guess it's just juicy. And they're like double burgers. There's just something about it. Maybe it's the memories.
Right. So that's what happens.
Yeah.
So much of it is the memory. I have taken my husband to places where I'm like, wait till you try this. And then we go and he's like, it's okay. I'm like, no, it's like the best thing you've ever had. He's like, I think you're just remembering it from when you were little, and that's often the case. So, yeah.
Is there a word for that? I feel like
the nostalgia taste buds is taste memory. But yeah, okay, so yours is burgers and wings at a sports bar. Nothing wrong with that. If anyone else includes some, let me know, Chef May.
Okay.
All right. So I've got mayo here. There's also a very popular seasoned mayo called Kewpie that I never know. I always say Kewpie in my brain, but I know it's not. It's Kewpie. You might know it from the red top. It's kind of a tapered bottle. That also would work really nicely in here. So we've got some mayo, some garlic powder, a little white sugar, some soy sauce. Again, you could use coconut aminos. You could use tamari if you wanted.
Oh, yeah, there's the Kewpie. Lena's got it.
Lena.
Yum.
Yes. A little bit of water. Some rice vinegar. And just note, if you're wondering what the difference between seasoned white rice vinegar and just plain rice vinegar are, seasoned will have salt, maybe like a little MSG added, and sugar. So it could throw off kind of the salty sweetness if that's what you're using. Totally okay to use, just be mindful of your seasoning if that's what you're using. And then again, more of our beautiful toasted sesame oil. We'll stir that together. This absolutely can be made the day before. No reason why you couldn't. It's just going to marinate and get more flavor in there. I also just personally, what I would do if I was making this at home, if I had a little bit of white miso paste, I might add a little squirt in there too, because I really like white miso and mayo together. I like a miso ginger dressing. Yeah, I mean, you do you. We're here having fun. I can't begin to tell you how much steak makes everything great. We've got steak, so everything else is just kind of a fun party accompaniment. I'm gonna toss together my slaw here. I'm gonna serve it like I have it at Teriyaki here in Seattle, which is I'm gonna put my slaw on my plate. You can absolutely toss this together, but do it right before serving if you're serving in a big group, because this dressing is gonna wilt that. But I'm just gonna add it on top for me. And then I'm gonna get my beautiful steak over here and slice her up. Save that juice. This juice I'm gonna pour right on top just to kind of rebase there. Hello, tri-tip. I'm just gonna cut here kind of against the grain. I mean, I'm pretty happy with that color. That's kind of right. Do you see that? A little pink in the center? It's a perfect combo for Chef Meg and I. I think we're both going to be very happy. The crust on this is insane. Nothing like a cast iron searing steak. Oh, I wish you could smell it. It's smelling amazing. Beautiful. Okay. Should we plate her up? Let's plate her up. Let's do it. Okay. It smells insane in here. We also have some toasted chopped almonds for our slaw. I'm just going to sprinkle those a little bit on top. That's just kind of a fun, crunchy, textural addition we added. I've got my beautiful finished white rice here. I'm gonna scoop up, looking for the perfect utensil to scoop. I'm gonna add that here on my plate. I need a little more. Look, I need a little more starch to get me through the week, all right? It's just gonna be one of those weeks. Some weeks you need more starch than others. So I got my rice. Beautiful. And then I think I'm gonna serve this with a little bit toasted sesame seeds over the top. You could also use furikake, which is like a seasoning that also has seaweed and toasted sesame in it. Gonna use this beautiful steak right along the side. Our gorgeous tri-tip steak right here. A little bit of that mixed slaw right on the side. Cold, crispy, crunchy. And I'm gonna do a little, again, this is how I get it here at Teriyaki in Seattle. It's just spooned over the top. It's not usually tossed in, which I kind of dig. You do whatever you want. And this almost acts like an additional sauce for the steak. Add a little bit of those almonds on top. And then the best part here, and honestly, I can't leave this. This juice has to go on top. Has to go on top. And then we have our teriyaki sauce. Still warm, my pan's nice and warm. So it held it really well. And that beautiful, glossy, shiny teriyaki right over the top. You use as much as you want. But I will say the steak's gonna have such a nice umami. You just don't wanna taste teriyaki. You wanna have a nice balance. And then a little bit of green onions for me, maybe a little more sesame over the top. Let's get some additional scallion. We'll get cut right here. Just over the top of the steak, over the top of the rice. And that is our Seattle style tri-tip steak teriyaki. Ah. This is a part where I'm so excited. I have the safety of the camera, so I get to have the first bite before everyone comes in, because it is going to be a free-for-all after this. I can't wait. I actually think medium rare is the perfect cook temp for tri-tip, just because that keeps it's still a little bit tender inside. If you can't find tri-tip, skirt or flank are also great alternatives. Let's get a little, I don't want to take too big of a bite. So you got to get a little rice. You got to get a little bit of the slaw with the dressing. You need a little bite of everything. That's like the perfect bite right there. Oh. Ooh, Lena, beautiful. Oh. I'm so happy. It just tastes like the Seattle places. I mean, it's that rice with the dressing, with the mayo dressing, with the steak. It's all the flavors. It's hitting all the notes. A perfect plate of food. All the textures, all the temperatures, all the flavors. One more. I gotta have one. It's that good. I gotta have one more. What an insane recipe. All of the slaw can be done the day before or the morning of. If you're having people over, teriyaki sauce can be made. All you have to do is grill up or sear up some steaks and get that rice, and then everyone's ready to go. Insane. One of my favorite steak recipes we've ever done here. I'm not biased because it's Seattle. It's amazing.
Yeah, I saw your eyes like light up when you
went somewhere else for a minute. Yeah. I wasn't live on camera anymore. My body was. I wasn't. Yeah, look at Lena's.
Looking good.
I've added some purple cabbage in there too, which I really like. Again, whatever you got, whatever's at the store, have fun with it. Friends, crushed it. 10 out of 10. We did really good. Good job, everyone. I want to thank the amazing Chef Meg. Thank you, Chef Meg.
Thank you.
I want to thank our incredible friends at New York Beef Council. Again, we want to suggest you go to their website for more recipes that are just as good as this. beefitswhatfordinner.com. Also, please tag them if you take pictures at New York Beef Council. You had fun? You want to come back again? On the 4th, on June 4th, I cannot believe we're in June. I don't even have time to process that. On June 4th, we are doing boozy caramel custards. Ooh, with yours truly. So I hope to see you there. Until next time, friends, keep on cooking and happy teriyaki. Thanks, everyone. Have a good one.